Hello everyone and welcome back to Feeding Curiosity. On today's video, we're going to be discussing something that I find really important. And so if you already clicked on this, you know, but we're going to be talking about none other than David Goggins today. And I think this is really spawning from a conversation I had with a friend of mine and basically his perception of Goggins, the character, effectively. And so we're going to dive into that. I wanted to basically just make this video in relation to that to try and it's not even really to repackage David Goggins because I don't think he needs to be repackaged, but to give my own spin and how I internalize what David Goggins represents and how all of us could use what his example is to forge ourselves into something greater. So with that, we're going to dive right in. What is the distance between you and greatness? For David Goggins, the way he goes about it is the difference is between David and Goggins. And that's the thing that's I think people don't catch is that most of the time when you see him on videos on Instagram or whatever, he is playing the character of Goggins because that is the savage. But then there's still David who is very much like you or me. He wants to be comfortable. He's probably cool with that, and but there's the other part of him that wants to achieve greatness, whatever that looks like. And it's not greatness in the sense that making $1 million or anything like that. No, no, no. Like this is a level of greatness that is entirely internal. It is something that's both mind, body, and soul that he he has to overcome for his own sake to find out what is he capable of. That is where the spark for me is. Because when you can take a step back from your own perspective and what you want to achieve in your life, and you stop and you say, what really matters to me? Not in the sense of looking at your life story and saying, how did I fall short? Or what circumstances you wish could have been different. Because I think comparing yourself to others will always lead to pitfalls and problems and whatever. Like no matter where you start in life, there's things that will suck. There's demons that you have to deal with, and there's always going to be mistakes that be made. But I think the core point is to basically take stock of your life and be in spite of all of these things that I wish didn't happen. How do I make the most of the cards that I've been dealt and turn this piece of coal into a diamond effectively, right? I think we all can do that. It doesn't matter who we are. And so over the last couple of weeks, listening to Goggins on podcasts, he was only on two. So one was Joe Rogan, and the second one was earlier this week at the time of the recording this video on the Modern Wisdom podcast. So those are the only two podcasts we're going to get in relation to this new book that he just posted, which is Never Finished. I was listening to the audiobook, which I highly, highly recommend because he does something that no other audiobook has done, which is between every chapter, they do podcasts with his co-author and they cover extra material that is not written in the book. It's amazing to just hear from David because he adds a lot more color and flavor as in his unique way. It's really touching at times because in this particular book, he actually interviews his mom and gets really honest with what it was like for both of them to grow up or live through an abusive household. With all that being said, I kind of went through over the last couple of days and jotted down principles, and I've kind of already iterated what my thoughts are on this. And it's not about being the abrasiveness, the brashness that I think comes from military training and like the take no shit or no what's the word? Don't feel sorry for yourself almost situation of maybe taking accountability for yourself that can rub people the wrong way with how Goggins presents himself. For me, I totally get that. I get supercharged by people who are gonna get after it and they're just gonna stand up and say, all right, time to just show up. If I care about this thing, whatever the thing may be, then you are in complete control of how you present yourself in that thing you chose to do. For David Goggins, it was becoming a Navy SEAL. And then even after that, it was becoming an ultra athlete and things like that. And I'm not trying to compare myself to what he's achieved, but instead, what I'm trying to do is compare myself to who I could be and making sure that I become who I think I could be. And I'm probably not going to be able to get all the way there, but maybe I will. And I think that is the mental step most of us don't take, is dare to dream audaciously and dare to dream to take the step or take the risk, betting on yourself so much so that if you fail, it sucks. But it's better to fail trying to do the crazy thing than it is to live with regret that you never tried to do that crazy thing. And so here's the oh man, I got fired up there. I will end it with my distilled just points on what I kind of came up with David's message. So what we can do is acknowledge our life and how much it sucks. Well, then we can get after it in spite of how much our life sucks. You can perform without purpose. We all search for purpose in life, and it's core to who we are. But most days, you don't feel that purpose. It's when you look at your life spanned out over decades that you see the purpose there. But in the moment, toiling away, getting good grades, going to school, going to a job, doing anything, the purpose feels very minimum. And so in yourself, you need to find a way to be able to perform at your highest level every day, no matter how much purpose you have. Because at the end of the day, the person who's paying attention is the you. And it's not the you that you like see right here this minute. That's like the version of me right now. No, this is the version of me that wishes I would have tried 1% harder. One of the things that he talked about in the Modern Wisdom podcast that I really resonated with is overcoming the things you were most ashamed of about yourself. And I thought that was a very interesting idea. Because in many ways, when you're younger, the things that you're ashamed of that like make you feel like you didn't fit in, they become the very reason why you succeed as an adult. I can really, really relate with that. Part of the reason this podcast even exists is due to the fact that I would have rather stay inside and read books and play video games and explore other worlds. I was never an athlete through all of that. Could have cared less. And I was ashamed for many years and picked on and bullied because I felt different. And I internalized that. And it wasn't until I let go of that shame and leaned into the interest in science and all of those things that I could turn the thing I was very much ashamed of like, I'm too nerdy, whatever that means. You see, it's so much different. Anyways, too nerdy to be into sports or whatever you want to call it. Instead, I took it as a call to action. It's like, well, I'm going to turn this into a science. I'm going to learn how to use the biomechanics and apply that to bodybuilding to make it interesting for me. There it is. Like, it's like, how do you become a version of yourself, regardless of what you were ashamed of or the things you had to overcome? How can you be proud of who you are and who you will become? You have to make the change to choose to live by your mission, whatever that means. And it's going to change and mold itself depending on where you are in your life at different times. And it should. You're like, for me, even when I was like in my early 20s, I didn't know what I wanted to do really. And now it's completely different than what I've expected 9 years later at 29. So continually have something you're aiming for, whatever that might be. But if you don't make up your mind, someone else is going to try and make up your mind for you. And so the last point here, it's when it's all said and done, when you take your last breath, will you be satisfied for everything you accomplished? Will you be able to look back on your life and say, yeah, I did everything I absolutely could from this life? And it's not in the superficial sense. At least not for me, and I don't think it is for David either, but it's measuring you against you at the very end of your life and say, "Did I take ownership of what I could have taken ownership for and create something that arguably shouldn't have been possible?" And if you can say yes to that, I think then you're clearly on the right path. And again, aspirational here, don't know if it's true. But at the end of the day, if you can stand for something that is wholly yours, something that you can get behind 110%, and you can scream it from the rooftops and say that with pride, I think that's what it means to be in pursuit of Goggins. But not just Goggins. No. No, no, no. Pursuit into the best version of yourself. And if we can get everybody behind that, then we can truly make impacts, ripples, unlike anything ever heard of or seen before. Well, thank you all for watching this video. I totally I hit the gas and just ran with it. But yeah, clearly I really enjoyed David Goggins. And again, if you enjoy what I had to say here or have any thoughts about David Goggins, I would love to hear them. And yeah, it's one of the things I get fired up thinking about this stuff because I just think it's self-help that is all about putting in the work. And I think a lot of self-help is kind of annoying at times. But when you find the rare gem that is David Goggins, who is all about leading by example, I think I can't help but be behind that because I wholeheartedly agree. And anyways, everyone, thank you all for watching this video. And I hope you took away something of value from what I had to say here. And anyways, stay tuned for the next video. And I guess go get after it now, right? If you're not getting after it, you're doing it wrong. Anyways, peace.